Good morning, sisters and brothers. This is Eddie Marcus, again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I find my interest this morning in trying to see if maybe just some kind of introduction into some things that have happened between the community and myself might help to bring about an understanding that works for both of us. I was taught that there was a God. I was taught that. I was taught that God was love and that God made people and that people should love one another. I was taught that where God rules, there is no suffering, there is no homelessness, no joblessness, no suffering. And I was taught that God is a spirit, and that if you allow the Spirit of God to live in you, then greater is the Spirit that's in you than the spirit that is in the world, giving me the understanding that a person led by the Spirit of God could conquer the world. I used to think it meant individually, and I can still see where the individual plays a role, but when it's actually talking about conquering the world, it actually means the people. The people led by the Spirit of God. The people become the body of God and accomplish what God can accomplish. God is great. Now, here's what I found out, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I was taught. But something happened in my life that took my education to another level. I was taught about God. Something happened that I got a chance to experience God, the manifestation of God, which eliminated all doubt, which took me to a place I'd never been before. I knew that God truly is. Not in my mind. I just know it. So knowing this gave me an obligation to people who don't really know God, because I didn't. I'm just like everybody else. And I say that because of evidence. I was just like everybody else. But until and after, it all changed. Now, I didn't immediately walk off into Godism. I still had some junk in me, some real junk in me that I needed to get out. And so I pursued getting the junk out. Then I got to a point in my life where it was time. And when I came out here to see who else was taught that, who else was ready to live that, I didn't find anybody. Now this is just a report. This is not a put down. This is a reality. I could not find anyone, not a single soul, that was interested in the manifestation. All of the preaching, and everything was caught up in the world. So it hit me that since I can't find anybody, and I've actually, look, ladies and gentlemen, I have championed this message of love, of freedom, of peace and prosperity and joy in life according to the Spirit of God. And nobody has heard it. No one. I have brochures and pamphlets and CDs and DVDs and dropped them everywhere. I have been radio, cable access, sought running for public office, the office of United States Senate, governor, mayor, president, champion these same things about God and God's love and peace and your dreams coming true. And nobody has heard it because nobody responds to it. So it tells me that this is a level that the human race at large has not matured to just yet. And so the message that I seem to be bringing to them is a level beyond their capacity to appreciate at this moment in time. However, it is essential because the times merit that we do step up another level, because the world is moving on and we are seeming to be caught in a snare, and it is time for us to break free. And the number one thing that I must tell all of you is that the time has come for us to put our trust in a spiritual power of love, not in men, not in me, the black man, who says we're God's original children, not in the white man who says whatever the white man says, not in men, not in women, not in old folk, not in young folk, but what's in love. Love, according to what I have learned, is being able to be a blessing at all times. Being a blessing at all times. And that wherever that takes you. Love is being there, got your back. Love is being dependent. Love is counting on. Love is being there. Love is you. Love is me. Love is truly God. And if we love, there will be no and hey, it wouldn't be. And we don't need money to love. Money is a tool that's used to cause us to forget God and start focusing on something else, focusing on the bait called money, instead of focusing on love, which will give us everything. Money just gives us some things. Money gives us something, you know. Some of us just don't have enough money. And so depending upon how the world uses us, that determines the amount of money. And it does not need all of us in that capacity. So only a few of us will be getting that kind of money. So you're just doomed in this way of thinking. You're absolutely doomed in this way of thinking. And so I stand here before you to tell you that if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, then you can also believe in me. The Bible is something that you read about, you hear people talk about, and you say it came from here, it came from there, put together here, put together there, left this, I left that, I meant this, up to everybody's interpretation. That's what the Bible is. You can see the confusion that it has created because of all the different denominations across the land, and how they, even when they call themselves together, it's really just to raise some more money. They're not really doing anything in the light of where God is trying to take you now. I mean, look at it. It has accepted all of the conditions that the society experiences today. And it's supposed to be representative of God. Well, it is. But now it's time to go to a different level. A different level. We don't need money. we're going to go back and trust in love. Love is going to work. Love, we don't need lying. We don't need cheating. We don't need stealing. We don't need gambling. We don't need crime and violence. We don't need terrorism and war. We don't need any of that. And we can all have our dreams met. Over here, we're going through all this bull, and only some of us are having our dreams met. The rest of us are being taught to hate each other. What in the world is that? Well, you don't read about me. This is me talking to you. And if you can believe something that comes from way wherever it comes from, and I'm not saying don't believe it, because I've believed it forever. The problem is that I've stepped out on it, and I find out what I'm living amongst, what I'm living with. I'm seeing the difference between the two. And I'm telling you what I've been given as far as the difference is concerned, because it's so much better than the norm. It's so much better than the status quo. The status quo was set up by some people for their concerns, and we've been just keeping it going all the while. People are hurting. People are going through all kinds of changes, and we just keep on stepping, talking about this the way it was designed to be. like we don't have any sense at all. Well, now, I am to tell you that whether or not you make me the senator from the state of Minnesota, I've asked you to, as a write-in independent, my mission is to change your way of thinking about our society and to get your support as I go forward and change the way of thinking for the nation, the people of the nation, about how we can really enjoy this life that we find ourselves caught up in. It might have been a burden when we were ignorant, but now the time has come for us to awake. And out of this, let the sun shine in so that we can be revealed for who and what we are and our purpose in life. And so we can all come together and flow like the milk and honey that goes together in rice pudding. And I'm telling you, it's so enough good if you can mix it just right. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I do. All of these things I want to do. And right now, up to this point right here, I want to say to you, as far as I know, this is about 37 years of this work. And today, as far as I know, I do not have one supporter. Not a one. Now, I've gotten people who check out my Facebook and my YouTube, but as a supporter, not one. Now, what does support mean? Support means that you are willing to change. Now, when I talk to you about change, I'm not talking about something that's foreign to me. I'm the one who knows that if you're living off the world, it's hard and complicated for you to attack that, because that's how you see your survival. But I'm also telling you that the supreme power is so much above that this can seem just a small thing to do, because you can change it overnight. The whole doggone system can be changed overnight. What I speak to you about, I'm not just talking out of my booty. I have documentation that show you as plain as day. It's simple enough for a kid to understand how you can change your life and allow the newness of life to shine in you. And all of us, now, I know you got kids in college. They don't need this debt. College wasn't made for getting you in debt. It was made to aid you in your educational process. Those of you who got health care problems, finance, healthcare wasn't designed for making money. It was designed to care for people. Now, what are cars made? Cars are made so people can have transportation. How many people are walking? How many people are riding around in cars, in traps, that just shouldn't not even be on the road. It's ugly. And all these car lots filled with pretty cars. Does that make any sense? Cars were made to be there to be used by people, not to make money. Money, it's destroying us. The lack thereof, the have and the have-nots. God is a good God. God is showing you a different way of life that leads to the peace and prosperity. Gets rid of the bigotry and the hatred and the racism. It denies that any growth. Why? Because people's needs are being met. People are satisfied with their lives, and they don't have time for this crap that we've been taught all of our lives. This is a new day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I do know one thing. I'm one. I was downstairs a few minutes ago, and I'm listening to some preacher using some scriptures, trying to show people how they should be submissive and be raising money and giving money to this and putting seeds on that. And it just made me want to puke. But the church looked like it was packed with people. And here I am speaking to you. Now you go back and look. I don't know how you got here, but go back and look back and see how many views this video that you're sharing right now has. And you will laugh. But anyway, it is what it is. I love you because I know that the future that I envision, all of the beauty of it, it has you in it. And so I know how wonderful you are. And I'm banking on it. God is banking on it. We all are banking on it. Bye-bye.